So I am a new person right now. I am a new person today. I've discovered, like, I've had an awakening for myself, over myself. And for the past 10 to 12 years, Abraham Hicks has been a great mentor of mine. And a lot of things have been said to me through Abraham, and they have become a belief of mine. Now, a belief is only a practiced thought. A belief is a thought that's practiced over and over and over again, whether you want to believe it or not. If it's said to you over and over again, and somehow you find some comfort in it, somehow you find some resolution in it, or somehow you don't like it at all, but you keep hearing it becomes a belief. So things have been said to me over the years through Abraham, and I believe it. I believe it, and I try to apply it in my life, and I find truth in it. I resonate with it, and so on and so on. But this one thing that has been said to me, that's my belief, I came to a resolution that I'm really aligning with it now in my life. And Abraham says this thing, get in the vortex and then, get aligned and then. Today, maybe for the 1,000th time, but for the first time with me being who I am right now, I found out what that meant again. And we call it realizing. I realized it again, that it's real. Today has been an amazing journey for me because I figured out who I am again. I figured out where I am and how I figured out that I'm going to continue to rediscover myself every day. Now, these are things that I know, but it's like more prevalent to me right now. I'm going to continue to discover myself every day. And I want you to get the idea in your head that you're going to discover yourself every day if you're on the journey of discovery. See, me, I am on the journey of discovery. I teach from the idea of man and woman are makers of their own reality through their daily ideas, their daily choices, their daily decisions and thoughts, actions and rituals, perspectives and perceptions, beliefs and actions, through their everyday ideas. What ideas do you come up with every day? Ideas keep your world interesting. What choices do you make every day? Choices is going to be one of the main things we talk about today in my new discovery. What new decisions do you make every day? Decisions is going to be a main part of the things that I talk about today. What new thoughts do you have every day? What new thoughts do you have every day? Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that the human mind has between 50 and 55,000 thoughts per day. And most of them are the same thoughts over and over. Those same thoughts that recycle in our minds that has brought us to the place that we are. But if we want to be somewhere that we're not that we're not enjoying where we are, but if we want to continue to progress, to tap into the highest version of us, we have to discover new thoughts in order to create a different vibrational frequency around us. So what new thoughts are you discovering every day? Your actions. Actions is going to be a large part of the things that we talk about today. What new actions are you tapping into every day? What new actions are you tapping into every day? Rituals. Oh, ritual is going to be one of the main things we talk about. What new rituals or what beneficial rituals are you tapping on a daily basis? Perspectives. Ooh, perspectives. Alexa, define perspective. Alexa. Okay. Alexa. Define perspective.
Here's the definition of perspective. The art of drawing solid objects on a two-dimensional surface so as to give the right impression of their height, width, depth, and position in relation to each other when viewed from a particular point.
A view from a particular point. A view. A view. A perspective is a view. What new views are you welcoming into your world on a daily basis? Do you believe in, do you have the understanding that you have to adopt a view and stick with that particular view? Or do you allow yourself to grow and change and perhaps take on a different view? Okay. Perception, how you perceive things, how you see things. Define perception.
Here's the definition of perception. The ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through the senses.
Aware through senses. I'm writing these definitions down because I want to use these in what we're talking about. So, what new awareness are you tapping into through your senses daily, on a daily basis? Beliefs. A belief is a practiced thought, something that you have adopted as a part of your own. What new beliefs what beliefs are you exercising that are benefiting you? It doesn't have to be that they're new, but what are some beliefs? Or if they are new, like what are some beliefs that are actually benefiting you and versus the ones that are not benefiting you, those limiting beliefs? And attention. Attention is focus. What are you focusing on a day-to-day basis to allow you to become that new version of you? So today, I came up with an amazing formula. And this formula is about manifesting. This formula is about attraction. So many times, throughout the last 10 to 12 years that I have been studying self-development really, really hard, the law of attraction has been like the big idea. The Secret came out and everybody just went bananas over it, and we started learning more about the law of attraction. It became something that we spoke about. Well, today I did the work, okay? I did the work to discover myself. And I just want to make sure that I give out the whole entire story. I don't want to rush anything. So I just concluded with the course. It is depth, discover, evaluate, plan, transform, and harvest. It is the weekly mental checkup. Okay, I just completed that course. So happy, so proud of myself. I feel really accomplished. And I am in a state to where I am putting myself in the position of my student. And I'm figuring out how to make this a part of my daily life as well as weekly life. So I'm creating the the calendar, the planner, the life map at this point. And one of the things that I thought was very important is for us to be able to fill in the dates on our, notes. So I want to have a spot for the dates. Another part that I felt it was very important is for us to have like a work page. And the work page would have a section for your inspiration. I believe that every day we are to get inspired. This goes to the idea that man is maker of his own reality through his daily ideas. It is not just up to us to wake up and have this brilliant idea, although we often do. Sometimes we have to tap into sometimes we have to be willing to grow and get ideas from places where we align. So I have this particular YouTuber that I like to watch from time to time. So I tuned into one of her daily vlogs and I was inspired, right? I was inspired to the idea of taking the time to love and romanticize yourself. So if it's something simple that you're doing, let's say the idea is to get dressed and go to brunch, okay? The idea of coming to the conclusion that you're going to get dressed and go to brunch should be an adventure. This is where perspective kicks in. This is where perspective, your viewpoint, kicks in. And then taking this time to deliberately enjoy the process of picking out your clothes, your shoes, your handbag, right? Because living in the present is very important. Like, you're never going to get this back. And if these things make you happy, then why not live in them? So taking the time to apply your makeup and get dressed and admire yourself and enjoy the ride there, playing the best music, keeping yourself in that thing that Abraham Hicks calls the vortex. I call it keeping yourself in that happy place, keeping yourself connected to who you really are, keeping yourself aligned, keeping yourself in the zone. That's the whole idea, right? So as you're getting there, either you're having a very, very high vibrational conversation or you're listening to music that makes you feel good, right? And then once you get there, you enjoy the amazement of being cared to, of being waited on. You see everything as a privilege. You see everything as a prize. And you realize that all of this was set up and planned for you to be special. So anyway, in the calendar or in the workbook, we are going to have a place for you to write what inspired you. And normally when you write out your calendar, it's in the morning. So you're going to have to find a way to get inspired early in the morning. That means early morning self-development. Hello. That means early morning self-development. And you will have a space for you to put what inspired you. Like, what inspired you? Like, what did you actually see? What did you actually experience that inspired you? And in addition to that, we'll have a place for you to put what your message was that you actually got inspired about. Like, what was the whole outcome? And I just told you guys, what inspired me and what was the message in my own words that I got out of it that gave me that aha moment. And then we'll have a space to write down some random thoughts, because I have a few random thoughts until I get to the primary thought of what I want to focus on. And all of my journaling is basically a lesson that I could share with other people. All of my journaling is basically teachings, not only for myself, but for anyone else who can actually learn from it. So the thing that I focused on today, that my attention was brought to today, was the word attraction. Right? The word attraction. So I wrote down the word attraction, and I realized that through Bob Proctor, I was listening to him. He said, well, in the word attraction, there is action. And I'm like, what in the heck is going on here? I don't know if I ever aligned with that before. Attraction, we're studying all this attraction. We want all these things to come to us. Yeah. Action, action, action. So I took the word attraction and I wrote it down. And I asked myself, I asked Google just to get the Google definitions of these things, because we can interpret our own thing. So I asked Google, what was the definition of attraction? And Google told me the definition of attraction is magnetic action. Okay? Being drawn towards something. Being drawn towards something, right? Magnetic action. So that means attraction, magnetic, a magnet, and drawn towards something. I said, okay. Now this is getting out of hand here. Okay, so I moved on and I said, okay, attraction. Let me take the last 6 letters out of this word, and it is action. Google, what does action mean? And Google told me that action is a behavior. It's also the accomplishment of something. Now, this is really getting deep at this point for me. At this point, my alignment is like I'm alert. I'm like, attraction means magnetic, right? Attraction is to be magnetic. And action is the accomplishment. The accomplishment, the behavior of the accomplishment. So then I take the first 3 letters of the word action, which is act. And act is to behave in a specific way. To behave in a specific way. And I am like, behave in a specific way, magnetic, the accomplishment. To accomplish something, behaving in a specific way. Accomplishing something, behaving in a specific way. Being magnetic towards something in a specific way is an accomplishment. Okay, so all of these things are going on in my head. And then I asked Google, what does TION means, or just ION? And it means the state of. So I'm like, the state of magnetic action, the accomplishment in a specific way. Now I'm thinking about what we think attraction is and the definition of what attraction is and the conclusion that I'm coming to of what attraction is. So I'm thinking of all of this. So we think attraction means to get something's attention and draw it to us. We think in self-development, most of us think that to attraction is thinking of something that we want, and then it should come to us. Thinking of something that we want and it should come to us, right? Or thinking of something that we want and allowing it to come to us. Either way, we want these things to magically appear. Okay? And then by definition of all these words, what I got from attraction is magnetic action, draw towards something. Action is the behavior, the accomplishment. To act is behave in a specific way. And shun is the state of being. And so I kept playing these words over and over and over in my head. And that's by definition. So we talked about what we perceive attraction to be. Then I gave you the definition of all the things under attraction. And now I'm going to give you my new way of describing what attraction is, or my new realized definition of attraction. So, attraction means a state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. A state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. A state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. A state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. A state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. A state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. A state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. My new definition for attraction is a state of being magnetic. Magnetic. You being magnetic and accomplishing something, doing something, successfully doing something in a specific way. I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away by this definition of all the information that I personally researched in order to get the new meaning of attraction. A state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. Now, how does that bounce off of what we perceive it to be? Like, I guess the everyday person who's in the self-help journey, on their self-help journey, versus the law of attraction and my new definition of attraction. So the average person thinks that they think about something and they're just going to attract it in their lives. And that's not far from what this is. That's not far from what this is, because to think a thought is action, right? To think a thought is action, but it's not limited to. It's not limited to. So you can come to a conclusion in your head and feel successful that you have come to a conclusion in your head, which would be an accomplishment, which is what action is. You can, but you're not limited to just that. By being a human being, you have all these tactics that you could use in order to attract, which is a state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. And the things and the tools that you can use in order to attract does include your thoughts, but it's not limited to your thoughts. It does also include your ideas, which is a new thought, right? An idea is a new and exciting thought at that period. It might not even be a new crispy thought that you never thought of before, but it is a new thought for the time and being in the space and reality where you are right now that would apply or possibly apply to the situation in which you're encountering in the present, right? So you can attract. This all goes back to my thesis of man is maker of his own reality through his daily ideas, choices, decisions, thoughts, actions, rituals, perspective, perceptions, beliefs, and attention. So you can attract through your thoughts. You can attract through your ideas. You can attract through your choices. You can attract through your decisions, right? Your choices are options. Your decisions are your conclusions. You can attract through your action. You can attract through your rituals, and these are all daily, right? You can attract through your rituals. You can attract through your view, which is your perspectives. You can attract through your perceptions, which are your awareness via your senses. You can attract through your beliefs as well. And you can also attract through your attention. So us just thinking that, oh, I'm going to see something I want and thoughts create things, so I'm going to keep thinking about it and then it'll happen to me. Does it happen? Yes. A lot of it happens, but it seems like we're selling ourselves short by just using our thoughts, by them telling us that thoughts create things. Thoughts create things. That's great and dandy. Yes, thoughts create things. Everything started from a thought, but ideas create things, right? Choices create things, right? Decisions create things, right? Thoughts create things. We know that. Actions create things. Duh. Rituals create things, right? Rituals create things. And perspectives, our view, creates things. Okay? Our awareness through our senses, which is our perceptions, create things. Our beliefs create things. And our attention, which is our focus, which is the number one creator of them all. Did we forget that? I can't say number one, but it seems that way, creates things. So thoughts are not the only thing that creates things. All of these other 10 powers that we have creates things. So my point is, by us just having the idea that thoughts create things and we can think about something and it'll happen to us, you're throwing a penny in the bucket. Yes, it's true. You can think something and have it manifest into your life. But there's other things you can do, other powers you can utilize that are more fun as a human being to create things. So what if you wanted this specific thing to be created in your life and you didn't stop at thought? You gave it dedication to have ideas, or you were inspired. You got inspired. And that inspiration gave you a revelation, and that revelation promoted an idea. That's what our whole planner thing is going to do. Like the whole idea of it is to promote ideas, to get you inspired so that you get a message, and that message promotes an idea. So if you have an idea about that thing, you drop a penny in the bucket. And then you make some choices about that thing. Maybe not in this order. Maybe you don't make the choices first. Maybe you create a ritual, or maybe the ritual about that thing is your choice. Okay, so let's just say somewhere along the line, you have an idea. So let's say you have a thought about that thing. Then that thought leads to an idea about that thing. And from that idea, you make a choice. You view your choices that you have about that thing. And then you make a decision from the choices that you have about that thing, right? This is all like in thought. Like this is all stemming from your connection somehow, because you can sit at a table, and have your coffee and exercise these top 4 things: your thoughts, your ideas, your choices, and your decisions can be done with you not moving at all. Okay? So that's like almost half the work is done by you being still and connecting with that thing. Becoming, would that be considered becoming magnetic? I mean, it's tapping in. We're going to talk about becoming magnetic in a few minutes. And then, what if you also applied action towards that thing? So not only are you thinking about it, not only are you getting inspired with ideas about it, not only are you, looking at your choices within it, making decisions about it, but you're also putting action behind it. And what if you created a ritual that's going to lead you closer to that thing? A ritual that actually leads you closer to that thing. Because it's all about you becoming the person to believe that you're worthy of that thing. You stepping up to the highest version of you, who's already over there with that thing that you want. You just have to convert yourself to accept it. And you ain't ready yet if you're not converting yourself. So you're converting yourself on a regular basis by implementing rituals. And if you have a habitual ritual, it's something that you do over and over and over again, and then it becomes habitual. It becomes a part of you. It is no longer a habitual ritual. It is who you are. And the whole point of this is for you to become that, right? So you drop that in the bucket. And then from you doing all these things, you develop a new view. You develop a new view. You see things from a different angle and you realize it. I don't think that it's enough for you to just see things notice things from a different angle. I think it's like having a realization comes from the gut. It comes from inside the soul, like, aha, type of thing, right? So you see things from a different angle. That means that you're a different person. If you see things from a different angle, it's kind of like a paradigm shift. So you drop that in the bucket. And then you have a different perception. That means your awareness via your senses is different. It's different. And I don't think that you have to do anything. This is not action. Obtaining or allowing yourself to have a different awareness is not action at all. You can sit and do this, right? This is another thing you can sit and do. And having a perspective, a different view is not action. It's not something that you actually have to do. It's by you implementing, it's acknowledging, right? It's an acknowledgement. But it stemmed from you doing all the rest of the things. Even most of the things that you sat down and did, in the actions and the rituals that you've implemented in your life, the new perspective and the new perception has come from that. So let's count how many things you can sit at your dinner table or your brunch table or your breakfast table and do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of the 10 things that makes a man who he is, or 6 out of the 10 things that powers that a man has in order to alter his life. 6 out of the 10 things so far you can sit and do. Okay? So not only are you dropping ideas into the buckets and choices, observing your choices, and then making decisions, you're dropping that into the bucket, and your thoughts that create things is being dropped into the bucket with the actions that you're taking that that stimulated from the rituals, or the rituals may have stimulated from the actions. Does a ritual stimulate from the actions? A whole bunch of actions put together creates a ritual if it's done on a regular basis, right? And then you're dropping those in the buckets, and then your new perspectives, and then your new perceptions, and then your new beliefs. This is number 7, the 7th thing that you don't have to move to do. But acknowledging it and putting it in the bucket, creating them, a belief can be considered action. Because if you know you want that thing and you figure out what a person like that believes in order to obtain that thing, that can be work. That can be work. It can be you having to take action to go somewhere where that person is. Like if you want a specific house, to go to that actual house and stare at it and sit in the front yard or sit on the steps and or whatever. It can be. You can implement action behind your beliefs in order to make you believe them. But a belief is the basic general idea of a belief is it is a practiced thought. So you can take the action of listening to that particular thought on a regular basis and adopt it as your own. So not only are you dropping those 9 things in the bucket, and 7 of them you don't have to do anything. You don't have to move. You don't have to move. The last one is your attention. What if you dropped your attention in the bucket along with your thoughts? Along with your ideas and choices and decisions, and actions and rituals and perspectives and perceptions, along with your beliefs. So my whole point of saying this is we limit ourselves with just having a thought and not putting other things behind it and just waiting for it to come into our perspectives. That's kind of boring. Waiting for it to come into our reality. That's kind of boring. That's not fun. Although it does work, you have other powers. Why aren't you utilizing your other powers? So let's cover this new definition that we have for attraction. Attraction means the state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. That in a specific way part, that part really gets me because I like the whole idea of control. You know, I like the whole idea of being able to say, this is how I picture it and envision it. And I experienced that, and perhaps I figure out that it was missing something. So the next time I picture and envision it, it'll be bigger and better. You know, I want that opportunity. I want that opportunity. Okay. So the first step was to break down the meaning of attraction, right? The second step, and this is all going to be a part of the planner. So you got inspired, you received a message. You wrote down the message that you received. Then you break it down. So I broke it down. It was attraction for me. I broke down attraction. The second one was a summary. What is a summary of what I broke down? What did I get from it? Okay. And I got that attraction means a state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. And the third thing was, since I have this new definition, I have some questions about this definition, or I think that others may have some questions about this particular definition, right? And the questions were, there were 3 questions. As I read it, attraction means a state of being magnetic. How in the hell do we become magnetic? What does that mean? How do we become it, and what does it mean? That was a question that I had, that I thought that would be a reasonable question, right? And I read on. I said a state of being magnetic and accomplishing something. So I thought, oh, okay, that's a no-brainer. The next question would be, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to accomplish? And then I said a state of being magnetic and accomplishing something in a specific way. In a specific way. Okay, what way do you want it to play out? What story do you want to tell? What do you want to experience? What will feel good to you? How do you want this thing to work out for you? Right? So those were the 3 questions. Number 1, how do you become magnetic? Number 2, what do you want to accomplish? And number 3, what story would you want to experience? What story do you want to tell? So from there, my journey continued, and I went to the steps. I always have to create a formula in order for this to be simplified and make sense to me. You know, it has to make sense to me. And at this point, I'm thanking Abraham and all my other mentors for all the work that they have studied and researched and learned themselves, because I now have it, and all of this seems very natural for me. It's a natural progressional experience. Right? So in order to make this information useful, I have to put it in a formula so that it could be practical for me in my life. And so the formula that I came up with, I had to go back to my questions in order to create the formula. And so my first question was, how do we become magnetic? What does that mean? Magnetic means basically to get in alignment, okay? To get to a point to where you can, anywhere you turn, you can basically get something to click to you. So if we think about a refrigerator magnet, and both things are magnetic, if they get in the same vicinity of each other, close enough, they're going to stick, right? So our job is to get to where we get in the vicinity of that thing that we want, that idea that we have, that concept that we want to create. We get so much in the vicinity of it that we're able to actually click it, right? So with all that being said, so how do we become magnetic, right? How do we become magnetic? There are a ton of ways that we become magnetic. There's not one specific way. We can become magnetic with a juicy conversation. All right, girl. We can become magnetic with a juicy conversation. So we can become live with just a juicy conversation. But I'm just going to tell you some of the ways that I become aligned, or magnetic. How do I become magnetic? I become magnetic through journaling, by speaking to you guys, by meditating, by praying, by listening to certain affirmations, by walking in nature, by masterminding. Masterminding is a great way that I become aligned. Also, by having a high vibrational conversation with a person or being around a high vibrational person. Have you just been around a happy person and all they do is smile? And then you wind up looking at yourself and you're smiling and you're like, I don't even know what I'm smiling for. I just feel happy. I don't even care why I'm happy. I don't even care why I'm smiling. It's just I'm smiling. Being around, because that person is magnetic, right? And you are a magnet. See, the idea of being magnetic is just accepting that you are magnetic because you are energy, and making sure that the magnetic energy that you are giving off is that high vibrational magnetic energy, because you can give off some, okay, I'm cool type of magnetic energy. You can give off some, I'm pissed off, don't bother me, I'm a bee right now type of magnetic energy. So you are a magnet, right? Period. And you give off a certain energy. And the whole idea with this exercise is to make sure that you're giving off the type of energy that you really, want, like that you really want to receive. So high in the sky, over the top, happy type energy, or maybe it's not over the top happy type energy, but it's the type of energy that I'm putting myself in a good arena to attract what it is that I want. And only you know that, right? And only people that are around you can actually feel that, right? So other ways that we become magnetic is to share gratitude. to share gratitude, like to share the things that we're grateful for and have like a bouncing off type of sharing session. We also do it by listening to inspirational people or high vibrational music. Those are the ways that we become magnetic. Becoming magnetic, we are already it. But this is the ways that we adjust our frequency. We adjust our vibrational frequency. So you don't have to become magnetic because you're already magnetic. What you want to do is tune yourself to the vibration, the law of vibration. Let's see, since Alexa's not working for me. Define the law of vibration.
Here's the definition of vibration. An instance of vibrating.
Define the law of vibration.
According to Proctor Gallagher Institute, the law of vibration states that everything in the universe is in a constant state of movement. We refer to these movements as vibration, and the speed or rate at which something vibrates is called its frequency.
Okay, so that's basically what I just said. We want to vibrate. We want our frequency to be, we want our energy levels to be at a place to where we can attract what it is that we want, or we can allow what it is that we want. And we can also do that through music as well. So next. So the first question was, how do we become magnetic? The answer is we're already magnetic. We just have to adjust our energy frequency, our vibrational frequency to match what it is that we want, right? Okay, and you do that through all the things that I listed. The second question that I had was, what do you want to accomplish? Okay, so what I wrote down for that was choose a focus point. What do you want to accomplish? Choose a focus point. Choose what you want to accomplish. And that is pick something that you'd like to accomplish. Pick whatever it is that you like to accomplish, but seek out something that you have where passion exists, that you're just like salivating over, because it'll be easier for you to enjoy. You'll have major probabilities of having or tapping into inspired action, which is action that is inspired and it's effortless action to you. It's like your honor and your privilege to actually do these things, right? So the first step is to become magnetic, and we know the ins and outs about that. The second step was to choose a focus point. Now, the third question that I thought people would have, or I would have, would be, what story do you want to tell? What story do you want to experience, which is the third step in this whole attraction process. What story do you want to tell? And so this is called the inner intention. How do you intend for this to play out? And here you imagine and you visualize how things will play out. Create your inner intention. Create that story that you want to create. All right. So those cover the three questions. And I thought the final to polish it all up, the final step would be accomplish it. Right. So I'll just go through my 4 steps of attracting something. It would be to become magnetic, to accept that you are magnetic and adjust your vibrational frequency. Okay? Adjust your vibrational frequency by getting in the zone of what makes you feel like you're tapped into God, the God within you. Okay? Choose your focus point. What do you want? And are you passionate about it? Let's make sure we're passionate about it. Okay? And create the story that you want to create revolving that. How do you want it to play out? And then last but not least, accomplish it. Accomplish it, right? I thought this work today was absolutely amazing. I wanted to be able to say the same thing. There's nothing new up under the sun. The same things are being said, but it's like you can align with them on different frequencies. So the last part of my notes for today, of my evolving planner, my planning page, was so the first step in like the planner thing was the date, to be able to write your date in. And then the second one was your inspiration. Who inspired you today, and why? And then next was the message. What message did you get? How did you grow from what they gave you? And then next was to break it down, right? Break it down. The breakdown. And then you have the summary of the breakdown. And then you have the questions that come from the breakdown summary. And then you have a formula that you're able to implement into your life that makes sense to you, right? Number 5 was the realization notes. Okay, so this is what I realized. I realized that to become magnetic and then become magnetic and then. Abraham just says this over and over and over, but she says it in a different way. It's like become magnetic and then get high and then, right? Get in the zone and then get in the vibrational frequency and then get connected and then do whatever you want. And I also discovered that asking, it says ask and it should be given. Ask. This whole thing, if you ask, if ye ask, ye shall receive. You know? And I kind of took like a little issue with that from a deliberate creator's perspective. And I said, having to ask for something still creates bondage of something or someone having the control over me. If I'm having to ask, it still feels like there's something or someone else that has control over me. And my main goal is freedom. Freedom from the religious practices. Freedom from the negative beliefs and the limiting beliefs. Freedom from all of the bondages that, surround us, that keep us locked down and continuing to be the person that we want, that we are, I said, if I am the boss, why should I ask? I should just do, have, or be. Saying what I'm going to do, saying what I'm going to have, saying what I'm going to get, saying what I'm going to be, saying what I'm going to receive. Boss up and stop begging. Boss up and stop begging. Why do we feel that we are so incapable of making things happen for ourselves, right? Consistency. This has to be done daily, several times a day for everything. Abraham Hicks calls it segment intending. This work is not new. I just discovered it in a new way.